Good morning. Good morning. What am I saying? Good morning, Australia. If you're there. Right. Here it is evening in the United States. I have no idea what time it is anymore. And we are here, some of the cast. I have Susan and Jen, Mark and Steven, and Randall to start off the stream.
Randall! What's up, y'all?
And as a reminder for anybody who is watching, this is a spoiler stream alert. We will be talking about the latest episode. And that's why you're here, is to hear directly from the cast members about any details that they're allowed to discuss, behind the scenes thing that they're allowed to discuss. Not everything, but as always, we will be spoiling things. How are you guys this evening? It's so good to see you.
We're great. We're doing fantastic.
Good to see you guys, yeah.
Doing great. A little tired, but doing great.
Yeah, I'm tired too. I noticed that the energy level of non-dancing to the intro music was indicative of everybody's kind of like, okay, I guess we're going to react again to something here, guys.
Big reactions, everyone.
Big reactions, everyone.
Big reactions.
Well, welcome to the chat. Jesse's Brick Galaxy, Brick Literacy, Doc Sampson, Waffle Lover 123.
Gotta love those
Not
waffles.
familiar with that one as much. Brickman Mosaic Art, Gloria Erickson. Gloria Erickson, any relation?
Yep, Mom.
Oh. Hi, Mom!
Mom!
Hi, Mom. We're on YouTube. We're on the internet. It's so good to have you. And Brickworm.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Ahoy. So, wow. So this episode, in true Brian Firk style, I had to go with Lord of the Rings only. It's Lord of the Strings.
Brilliant.
I could have done a million puns go with this thing. I think this is the most pun-filled episode. Probably Randall and Sarita clocking in. What was your puns per minute?
Right. Yeah.
What's your PPM?
Right.
Yeah.
I got a question the other day and said, "Are you not a pun person, Randall?" I was like, in that moment, no. But you know what didn't make the stream? Didn't make the cut. Was I made a pun of my own.
Oh yeah, what was it? So let us know if you're allowed. If you feel.
Oh yeah. So since we're talking spoilers, Will, once we got called up to the bottom two, Will was like, do y'all have anything to say? And first I talked about just our build chemistry, getting better over time. But I said, we put our best foot forward, but we fell short. Because during that episode I hurt my leg, but my foot was in a cast or in a boot. So if you saw Natalie's picture on Instagram, that was what everybody was laughing at. So I can make them with the best of them. I can have it.
Yeah. So you actually had look at this. We have someone else joining us. Welcome, Dawn.
Hi, Dawn. Hi. Now we get all excited.
Now we got nice and I don't. Was it last? So it's been 2 weeks, which is really strange to have that like break in the middle, and then we're gonna have another one next week, right? Another break coming up.
Yeah,
so annoying.
All these Olympic trials and stuff going on. Yeah, who knows?
All-Star games,
All-Star games, athletic events. It is the summer. Because I'm looking at the backdrop, I'm wondering, was there a shortage of mixel joints in this episode? I always have to ask for every episode.
I don't know.
I know.
Not that I noticed. I used a lot of the little clippy hinge joints, but not the mixel joints.
We were running pretty short on them because we were using them to get all the angles on the leads.
All the leads.
So we were like bottom of the barrel. I think Maria and Philip were using them.
They were for the coral.
Mm-hmm. So that was, and we were getting pretty low at that point, and they hadn't sorted it down enough at that point.
No, they couldn't keep up.
I apologize. It was Hat's Incredible that parse, and I gutted that inventory, and I felt god awful.
That's what it was.
God awful. We pretty much created. I mean, those pitmasters were incredible for getting you guys any supply at that point.
Yeah, amazing.
So you said you're running low on clips. Was it these guys, the double hinge clip things?
Is that what you were using, Susan?
Oh, we lost Dawn.
The longer ones. I
Oh,
think.
okay, the ones with the two, put it on the side. Okay.
I can't respond.
Oh, snap, look at the chat.
What is? Let me go look.
No, I can't actually see him here.
We don't have it up on the tab yet.
No, I was looking in the upper corner. There's 15 people watching. By the way, if you in the chat, I always forget to do that. I'm so unprofessional.
No.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Cody.
Ask questions in the live chat, of course, if you in the audience have anything that you want to ask. Otherwise, we will freely discuss a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
My first thing that I'm going to start adding is this question. Were there challenge rules that were not aired? So I've noticed that a lot of the challenge rules are not making it to air. Was there like size requirements?
No. This was actually nice because for the most part, they said build whatever you want.
Okay.
Yes.
And put it on a hanging brick. So the freedom was actually really refreshing. I'm not gonna lie. It was like do whatever. So that's exactly what we did.
Okay, yeah, because I know for like Hats Incredible, we had dimension proportions that were not aired, but they were part of the challenge.
And they
things
added
of
a
that
twister.
nature.
They added a twister.
Well,
for
we
Hats
also talked
Incredible.
about the accessories a bit. Yeah,
we didn't get one of those for this episode.
Yeah. The only thing
that twisted was Randall's foot.
Yeah.
So can you give us a little insight? Not when it happened, of course, because it wasn't on camera. Obviously, it didn't make the cut. But what you were you doing like at the table? Were you in the pit or what happened?
So I'm actually going to answer a question that was in the chat. Said, "Do you actually run to the brick pit all the time?" That's actually what happened. So in this particular episode, our desk was furthest from the pit. So I was running to get bricks and I planted my left foot and like my left calf muscle popped. So I came up lame and had to get like a scooter and such. But then I went and got a boot and finished building. So that's what happened. Yeah,
and I would say 10 hours is not a long time. There is a reason you saw me sprinting from the far tables inward.
Right.
And
Randall got some speed on this one.
Yeah, Randall, because you were. I noticed that you were at a far table assignment.
Yeah,
in the very back corner.
I should have just drank some water.
They show you sprinting on this episode. They show Randall sprinting. I was like, oh, foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
I remember that.
Yeah, you guys in the know, you have a depth of knowledge that as time goes on, the rest of the cast won't have. That's why I love having you guys on, give those insights. But yeah, Randall, I popped something in my leg. I think not for Hats Incredible, but the one before. And one of the pit stalkers was concerned because I said, "Oh, I think something just popped," but it was just a small.
Okay, wait, hold up. You just said pit stalkers, which sounds really, really bad. You mean?
Oh no, the people stalking the brick pit. Yeah, the people stalking the brick pit. Oh,
I want to be a pit stalker on that show. I'll stalk y'all.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, for increased revenue in season 3, they're going to start opening up, high value contracts to stand on the balcony and watch the competition as it's filmed. So it'll be like a SpaceX type monetary fund. I don't think that's going to happen.
No,
they're going to throw bricks down at people while they're building. That's going to be one of the side challenges. Is they're going to bring in staff members to pepper 2x4s down and people as they're building.
When are they going to bring in the brick firewalk? That's what we need to do.
That would be hazardous really quickly.
Yeah, you're going to get 5 extra minutes of build for every foot that you can clear while on this treadmill. Barefoot. No, I don't think we would do that.
No, that would happen.
The other standard question I always give you guys is there anything that got cut that you wish made it to air? Okay, Mark Steven, you got one? Let me supersize you. Unless I accidentally green room you. There you go.
So one thing that really stood out to us, Caleb and Jacob aren't here right now, but that was one of the big highlights was the copying, right? So that whole incident must have lasted almost. It felt like almost 10 minutes of banter going back and forth, like just yelling, like we were just half screaming at each other, all instigated by Will, of course. But at one point, I was calling them Four Eyes and stuff, and goobers and like tall guys or whatever, just like any sort of insult we could think up on the fly, as kid friendly as we could get it. But with such emphasis, it was hilarious. Although what they edited was Amy and Jamie were over by Philip and Maria trying to do their thing, and we were just screaming back and forth. And Jamie was trying to talk over the yelling, and he kept having to stop and wait, and then like try and talk again. And it was going on for minutes. So finally, Philip goes, "Hey, be quiet over there! We're trying to do an interview." And then Will shouts, "You stay out of it, Philip!" And we're just like, other teams were getting involved. It was so like crazy. Like the gloves were off. Like we were like, "This is going out. We're gonna tell everybody."
That's
and we're
why.
gonna just have fun with it. We had the biggest grins on our faces, but
Yeah, and that's why Caleb and Jacob were like, "This is exhausting,"
because we went for 10 minutes.
we've been yelling at each other for 10 minutes, so it was.
Oh,
pretty
man.
fun.
I'm curious what that was like from the outside, by the way. Like, what was going on through y'all's heads when you were just like over there hollering at each other as loud as we could?
Yeah, Susan, Jen, why don't you go first? What did you make of this?
I'm trying to remember who said something about cake as well, cake copying happening.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Somebody said something about that. I don't remember what it was either, but like the whole floor, all of us were laughing. I mean, we were trying to hold it together and build, but dude, I think it went on. You guys yelling at each other was like 10 minutes, but Will over there trying to start stuff, I want to say it went on for like 20 minutes. It was a while, and it was hilarious, and it was a lot of fun.
We
It
had a front
definitely
row.
reflected
We had a
us.
front row seat to it too. We were right next to Caleb.
Yeah,
and
you were
Jacob.
just across from, yeah.
That's
I
right.
remember. Oh, that was so much fun though. We yeah, they could have showed a lot more, but I don't know. It got a little heated, so I don't know.
That came out of nowhere. Like I was just building, and then I just hear screaming. I'm like, "Wow, we can scream!" Oh, okay.
This changes everything.
Right.
Hey, as long as it's good for television, you can do anything you want in there.
Yeah.
Well, after
But
you guys
I thought
were
it's
done-
funny that the drama, that the interpersonal drama has to be forced to this level in order to get it on air between our cast.
after
at
you
least.
guys were done yelling at each other, Mark and Steven, you guys were building gnomes on yours, right? And Jacob and Caleb were building farmers, but they ended up putting like a garden gnome homage to you guys in their garden, and maybe even two. But I just thought that was like hilarious. The
last
call
little
outs to each
fight.
other, even
Oh,
in your
it was
builds.
great.
Did they talk about that though?
I don't think they showed that on the
Okay.
No,
edit.
in fact, there's a few other things that were like overlapping. So we didn't know what to do for characters inside this creation at first. We were just gonna do like minifigs or something. We weren't really thinking that far ahead. But Amy and Jamie said, do something like, this is your opportunity to do whatever you want. Do something, surprise us, make it crazy and fun and imaginative. And they're kind of like pushing us, get out of that box, which worked out great in the end. But I'm like, okay, well, who inhabits the island? Like, what about like fairies or something? They kind of just like, I'm thinking of random things at this point. Like, yeah, we'll do fairies. But then Will comes over. This was before we had that heated exchange. Will comes over and said, so what's going on the island? And we're like, fairies. Like, Natalie, Michelle, they're making fairies over there. And then we're like, oh, snap, you're right. So let's do bugs, like a bug's life. We'll do bug people. No problem. That'll be great. We'll do like a butterfly. We'll do like an ant and a centipede. It'll be great. Guess who's doing bugs? Caleb and Jacob. They're making these wasps that are attacking the farm. So we're like, okay, because that was when
he came over and he's like, "You're not making bugs, are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "We're making bugs." I'm
We
like,
have a bunch of bugs already made. We're like,
Oh man.
Mark's like, gnomes. We're doing gnomes. That was in the equation, in the conversation earlier. Like, we're doing gnomes. I'm like, okay,
You're just gonna do
no,
gnomes.
We added some butterflies in later for the story, but yeah, it was like 3 tries before we got our actual characters finally done.
And that is something that happens, that you do have to pivot relatively quickly, not just in techniques due to shortages of elements, but in storytelling and composition, because you get constant feedback or you realize overlaps. And it's too bad. I almost wish there was, looking back, I almost wish we agreed on some sort of policy where we would run to the middle of the floor at the 30-minute mark and everybody just summarizes their story in one sentence to see if there's overlaps before we split back out, just to get through that. But
because I ended up having a wizard in mind, the same challenge that Susan and Jen pulled a wizard.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Right, I forgot about
man.
that.
Yep.
A lot of common
though?
themes.
I don't even think that would be necessary, Moto. Even though we do exactly the same concept, completely different build. Like, there's no way we're gonna copy each other, even if we really.
No, it's
try.
impossible because the personalities and the styles of building are so different. The color selections, everything is so diverse.
And that's why this is so comedic, because there really isn't any copying happening at all. Even if we tried, it doesn't happen.
Any that does exist is very.
You had a wedding cake and then a birthday cake, so two very different cakes. You know, so even if it's a very similar thing, they ended up like splitting timelines. You know,
and different stories too. I mean, one of them had human spronkles, for crying out loud. So
that was so good.
That was amazing.
I've never seen those before or since. That hasn't been duplicated yet. That needs to be.
Yeah. There are some
by the
questions
way,
go ahead.
So you said this. So I was hanging with not Mark. I was in Michigan, Philip and Maria. And Dave was there, and I was saying that you were talking about duplication, Jen, that Jack and the Beanstalk build that Dave and Richard did technically is the third one on Lego Masters.
Really?
Well, it is, yes, because of fairy tale challenges in the past.
Never would have guessed.
Yeah, they did a good job. They did a good job, but yeah, I didn't think about it until we hung out this week and watched this week's episode. I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
That is the only giant that has, a little bit of a butt cheek showing. So I think that's.
Moto, you didn't see that. It did. It like the pants were sagging.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it. I'm gonna have to watch it in 10th speed now.
Yeah, it's so true. It happened.
It has the plumber's problem where he leans over and you just see all back there. It's
Mark, were you like watching it at 0.25 speed or something? Like
no,
I walked by and saw it.
It's
And I was just like,
we're tall enough to see over it.
I literally stopped to my tracks in a brick pit run, and I was like, "That's amazing, Dave." And he's like, "Thanks."
That's funny. That's awesome.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
That's one benefit of being there in person is you have the time and space to truly see these in live, and you catch all the details that just kind of fleet by with cuts.
Exactly.
It really felt like a museum when they moved all the tables, though. When you're walking around, we were able to do that.
Yes.
When the tables were all moved, it's like I'm in an art gallery. This is just
that was really cool.
You had the whale, you had like the
everything.
The beanstalk, you had the balloon, you had our build.
Yeah, that was one of the. There's a few challenges like that where once the tables are eliminated, I think it really, and they're hanging in the spaces, it does bring that art-like quality to the show where you truly see art pieces. I was thinking of Lego Masters Australia. They had a portrait frame challenge where you had to hang a frame up in season 2 and build within that frame. And it had the very same, and it was literally a frame, so it did look like an art gallery because you had frames next to each other. They're all suspended and just beautifully done.
Like a fun build.
That's cool.
I wanted to do that challenge so bad,
right?
Because Jackie, my mom, she is an artist, and I have in my mind what piece of her artwork we would put in there, and it's just like, oh, so now I may have to do that too now.
Do it.
Really cool.
Yeah. I was down at Michael's getting my note framed, and I just started thinking, you know what? If I glued like 6 gray base plates down onto a piece of plywood and just brought it into this shop, like what would they even think? They'd probably do it because I have to, I'm paying them to do it. But that would be a real interesting thing where you could do your own mock like that.
Just tell them you were on Lego Masters.
Yeah.
Well, the guy opened the note and he's like, what is this? And I had to tell him, and then he's like, I said, so there's only 44 of those in the United States, and they're one of a kind. He's like, I'm like, no pressure. He's like, I have to put my gloves on. He's like, he looked like Indiana Jones trying to swap a golden idol with the sand, like on this, all of a sudden it's like this, he's like, he's treating this thing like the golden brick. It was hilarious, but that's where the story is speaking. Dawn, I was wondering, because you keep dropping it out, I wanted to ask you if you're working on anything, building anything, and could you show it off? Or do you have it there? Is there anything you could show? or not, or you can just describe it. Because I know you've been kind of building along with the challenges.
Worse internet than here.
Okay.
I have been. I am currently working on my episode 6, my car, and
okay.
You can't hear me now, so this ought to be good.
So we can
I'm currently working on my car, and okay, it's cycling, so we'll see. So that's kind of something I'm working on. It's not going to necessarily, again, not to scale, and it's not going to have the remote control issues because that was something specific for the episodes that you were given. But I got a little insider from what colors were available because other colors were picked already, so I had to pick a color. And so I'm going yellow, and actually, I do have it right here.
Nice.
Here's part of it.
There you
So
go.
that's all you see.
Wow, there you go.
Secrets?
Yeah,
The rest is going to be later.
So I've been working on.
No, it's not a big one. It's a little smaller, but
good. Yeah, I bought a Lego set specifically just so I could do a remote controlled car.
Nice.
So I didn't have any of the motors or controllers or any of that stuff. So went out and bought one, and I've been doing the hanging brick since I got home, and I'm still not done. I mean, it's like literally like
You know what?
longest,
When I saw what you were
ever.
doing for your hanging brick, I was like, ha ha ha.
So now that I saw the episode, I'm like, oh, Randall and I are geniuses. We picked the same theme. Now mine's going to be upwards of like 100-hour build, so it's more of the idea of taking the challenge and then extending it to see what can be done if you really have a lot of time. But
yeah,
I was like, oh dang, to see you guys actually doing it kind of blew me away.
This is
wow.
what happens when you.
Oh wow.
Yes. So when I came home, I was like, I have to exercise this demon. So like I just cranked it out outside of 10 hours, and I'm like, all right, like, this is probably what it should have been. So
do you like playing Redemption Song on loop when you do that?
Right? And speaking of time builds, Debo Bricks asked a question. Have any season 2 contestants built a brick replica of Clockzilla?
Yeah, I was going to do that one next.
I will say, wait for it. It's coming.
Uh-oh.
It's going to show up at one of our conventions. It's coming.
Tell people what Clockzilla is if they don't know what Clockzilla is.
Yeah, so I always get it mixed up. Clockzilla, aka Clockosaurus Rex, either way you want to phrase it, is the big digital display above us that constantly winds down with the red numbers. So whenever we hate the clock, so I gave it a name, Clockzilla or Clockosaurus Rex. Either one works. It's the evil monster that's higher than you that will crush you with its foot within a moment's notice.
Lego Masters oppression on set.
Yeah. If they were to hire the Monty Python animation crew, it'd just be at the end of the clock, so they go and squash everybody. It's stepping on a brick.
Stepping on us.
There you go.
Stepping on you. Hilarious.
Brickman has an interesting question. I'll try to address the second half of it. Did you try to ask Will for more time? No, that's completely not going to ever happen. But what about the first half for you guys? I'll start with Randall. Were you guys always getting rushed when you were trying to build something?
Were you guys always getting rushed? I don't know if there's any more rushing that was present other than Clockzilla, right? Like, you have to, pull from, your knowledge and techniques that you already have and just do it, 10 times faster. But nothing that had me. Only time you might feel rushed is if you're talking to Will or you're talking to the judges and you might not be building as fast. And then once they leave the table, you're like, all right, I got to compensate.
Yeah, hands on fire, right?
Something like that.
Susan
I definitely
and Jen.
had a hard time talking and building at the same time.
Yeah, that was something Mark Cruikshank noticed as well, is that one of their strategies was Boone was always talking and Mark was always building. Mm-hmm. Whenever there was an interview to keep the progress going. It was an interesting strategy. I call it the Penn and Teller. Boone is obviously Penn. and Mark is always teller, but the silent one is the guy who's like mashing out all the behind the scenes stuff while the other one's talking. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting to hear that on a podcast when they were looking at season 2. Mark and Steven, any comment on feeling rushed or?
Mark, did you feel rushed?
So if you got too much interview time, you could feel a little rushed because suddenly instead of losing whatever amount of time is for the standard ones, if they give you extra interviews, like if Will ran over to create more drama or something like that, you might end up feeling a little more rushed because it's like, well, I've lost another 10 minutes yelling at Caleb and Jacob. In a way, you really want to interact with Amy, Jamie, and Will. But at the same time, you're also having to weigh that in your mind. It's like, okay, then to have another 15 minutes less to build because like you're saying, Jen and Susan, I was like, I want to be able to talk to them, but I can't build at the same time. I'm not one of those people who can multitask like that. So it's something you had to. So I felt a little rushed when I got too many interviews, basically. So
yeah, I was able to keep building. No, I couldn't do it for the Brickmasters or Will, but any other questions that were coming at me, I didn't stop. I didn't put my hands down at all. I refused to stop for that.
I remember when Will came over the first time, the very first challenge, and I was just trying to keep my hands moving and stacking. And once he left, I was like, what is this? What did I just stack?
What did I just build?
Yeah, I had to get rid of all of that. So that was the first time. So I had to get used to it. And after that, I'm like, all right, I can't do that again.
Snap it and then put it in the drawer and then kick it.
I know I didn't feel well at first. I tried to build like in the earlier episodes to try and build and talk at the same time, but my problem was me and Mark are pretty big, so we need elbow room. So I would always build on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
So because I could sit down, I could have all my trays, and Mark could have all his trays. We could easily intertwine and whatever. But Ken would always come up and say, "Steven, other side of the table, man." I'm like, "Oh, again?" Like, yeah, go over there. I'm like, oh,
no, we were the same. We're the same way. So we're not big.
We're just with that too.
Yeah, we're not big. We're just messy. So I'd always have to reverse for the interview, and that's why I'm not.
But I actually took advantage of it because for a second I would be building, but Mark would do the Mark thing and I would do the Boone thing. And he would usually keep building and not talk as much. And I would usually, I'm more, I'm more cheerful, so I could sit there and like, rest my brain, have a conversation with somebody and just like, I'm like, okay, now back to what we're doing. Okay. So I could kind of get like a little mental break for like 5 minutes. So, yeah.
If you can call it a break when you're trying to explain something on camera.
All these cameras everywhere. So.
Yep. Here's a question I want to highlight before it flies off. Oh, it already zipped off. Hold on. Are you building anything cool at home right now? Now, I have to say, you can say yes and then not tell us what it is. If it's a reveal for a convention, you want to keep it private. I understand that. Or if you just want to share, you can. I'll go with Susan and Jen first. Boop.
Yes. But I have a rule where I don't tell people what I'm building because I feel like it jinxes me. So
I don't even know what she's building.
I keep it to myself.
Well, that's good. And by the way,
you don't know it.
Yeah, and by the way, if you find yourself on the show, it's best to be as general as possible when you describe what you're building, because if you put a pin on a specific feature and then it doesn't work, you're going to get nailed to the wall by the judges. So it's better to surprise and delight rather than inform and then meet that bar and try to exceed it. It is the way I looked at things. Now, if it's an integral thing, like I said, we're going to blow a rainbow because there's no way around it. We were going to blow a rainbow. But if there was something more subtle or I wasn't sure if we'd have time, you couch it and then you can surprise and delight rather than have the expectation. And then if you don't meet it, you can come in underneath the radar. But it's the same thing with a mock, right? If you're building something and, you're in the middle in progress and mocks can shift and progress can change. I can understand how it's difficult to kind of over-inform when you're trying to go for something like that.
For sure.
Mocks shifted and changed constantly over at Susan and Jen's table.
Well, you guys were the hard right turn team.
I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah.
It was like watching a NASCAR race. No, it was more like Le Mans. Okay, it was like Formula One going through the streets. and all of a sudden this one vehicle just happens to go woo off
It was
the
usually
course
on the
into
last lap,
distance.
though.
Yeah.
I would say it's like you nearly miss your turn, but then you make it at the last second.
Yeah, then you're-
And so I do a slight U-turn and go back. Yeah.
That's a good.
You guys were the Lego drifters of the of Lego Master Season 2, constantly drifting the build. How about you, Mark and Steven? I know you guys are constantly building.
Yeah, we've got a pretty big project that's going to be at Brick Rodeo and Brick Fair, Virginia.
It's like the only thing we're bringing.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
It's loosely
it's inspired.
inspired by our first creation that we made for
Yeah,
Lego
the World
See a
Circle.
really big.
We're changing a few things because we don't
It's
have
actually
any.
much bigger.
Yeah,
So
it's
if that
bigger.
gives you any indication, it'll be really
Yeah,
sick.
it's big and red.
Yeah, big and red.
So we're adding some new elements. We're removing other elements. We're changing a few minor colors. And that'll be it.
Basically, it wasn't quite out of our system. You know, it's like we wanted to. We would have loved another hour
We'll
or
do
two.
that again, you know, because the
Minor
first
tweaks.
episode was really fun.
Minor tweaks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I got it. Randall, you showed us the balloon. But
Yeah, and that one, like the colors on it, not gonna be the colors. I just did it for the shape, so like
Right.
that's not what it's gonna be. But one of these conventions, I'm gonna actually bring this, like the real thing.
so
but-
please do, because I want to bring my balloon at some point, but its scale is beyond aircraft flight at this point. So it's going to have to
and
be
I'm probably only gonna bring this to Chicago because of. the
I'm
size.
thinking the same thing for mine. And it's
Wow.
also the only convention hall. I requested a hanging string for rodeo, and they're like, that ceiling doesn't accommodate what you're asking for.
It's like
It's not the height, it's the
Sand
fact
club
that they
or
don't
hospital.
they're not used to having suspension light systems and stuff like a
Oh,
major
no, it's
convention hall.
Basic
It's
joist
more of
stuff.
it's a hotel kind of space. So
Oh, okay.
I could
I
just
realized
see
that maybe
Moto.
Chicago.
I can just see Moto running to like Home Depot and getting like PVC frame just so he can
Running
put
all
in
the
his
way
brake.
back.
Well, if you looked at the price of lumber, I would have done it, but it's like lumber's through the roof.
I'm not building this. This is what I'm working on. I'm actually working on Chicago Theater sign.
Ooh.
People might have seen on my internets, my
The
Instagram.
webs.
Yeah. So building it modularly and
Nice.
working on connecting the sides right now. So that's
Oh,
what I'm
that's
working
so
on.
cool.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bricks to build that sign.
That looks fantastic.
Yeah,
For me,
it is.
I finished the rainbow. I built a bookshelf, by the way, clean up my backdrop. But
Nice.
I decided I wanted to build a pirate ship to hang off the balloon.
Ooh.
So I got the shape down in like 2 days, and now I had a couple more hours to start to get the color swaps in, a little bit of the back.
Mhm.
But it's that
I
same
spy ball
poly-
joints.
it is. It's complete polytexture. It's completely hollow on the inside to keep the weight way down. So there's not one studful connection in this thing yet.
How do you think you're going to connect it to your balloon?
Rigging,
So-
right?
No. So what I did is
Technic axles. Jen says Technic axles.
no. It's a much simpler mechanism. I bought 4 of the wind-up cranes
I
and the
knew.
hooks, and I'm just gonna hook string it on, just toot, 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 toot,
Wow.
That's really
just like
cool.
that.
That's
These guys
legit.
hold the deck of the ship down, so that's where the locking comes in.
Got it.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm loving
yeah.
that.
So that's what I'm working on. Anything building? Who wants to take this question? Because we can't answer this, I think.
I don't know if we can,
Yeah, we can't answer this.
but I will say this: I really wish that we.
Well, I
had,
say the set. I think of the
When
set
it-
as all the zones encompassing everything. When I say set,
Oh,
so I
On
would
and
say
off
yes,
and
they're on site the
Yeah,
whole
they're
time.
pretty much there
Yeah,
as long as
they're-
we are. You know,
They might not be in the
Yeah, they're
same
on
room, but yeah, they're
I will say
Yeah.
this: I really wish that we had an opportunity to just fun build with the Brickmasters and with Will. After we were all done shooting, maybe, or something like that. I know they have to stay, emotionally separated from us to judge and that sort of thing. Hi, Dave. But I think it would have been really fun to just have like some kind of build off with the Brickmasters. I think that would have been really a blast.
That would have been fun.
We didn't really get to hang out with them because they were part of the judging. So
Right.
anytime you see us talking to them is all the time we actually got to talk with them. So
Yeah.
Yeah, in
I
order
think they
to
do that on
keep,
purpose.
in order to keep the judging as unbiased as possible,
Right.
and equitable, and not to show favoritism, you're instructed not to really converse with the brick masters. That's all I'll say about that, pretty much.
And that's understandable, and I think that's all right.
Well,
But
no,
what
that's just
let's go
fairness.
play. Come on.
it would have been nice though. Yeah.
I guess if you go to Billund, they'd probably, for one of us, if you give them a huge heads up, they'd probably come down and talk to you and be more sociable outside of the show.
I think so.
But
Do we
that's a heck of a
warrant
flight.
a visit?
I think they should have all us Lego Masters together in one spot where we can just all play like that. Have them there too, just like an after party.
We all build
Wait,
one
so
thing
what-
together.
Like what?
Yes.
Send us all the Scareback, like every global Lego Master contestant in the whole
When
world?
when are we going to Scareback?
He's already been.
Where is Scareback?
Scareback. So, okay. So, hi, Dave. By the way, I'm sorry we're talking about you right now. I know you want to get a word in. So, Scareback is the convention that is hosted by Lego itself. It's a smaller area outside of Billund. So the way to think of it is when the Masterpiece Gallery gets changed over and new artists come in for the year and they swap all the stuff out, Scareback happens, I'm trying to remember, it's like a week or two after that. So what happens is most of the Masterpiece Gallery AFOLs will stay the extra time to delay their flights. They'll do Scareback. A lot of people who are real intense builders will go there. And it's because it's the one convention where you'll find a lot of the Lego designers and Lego employees are there in person at a convention style event to really just hang out and talk. I know Holly's been there a few times.
Got it.
I've never been.
Yeah, I went
Hi,
in
Dave.
2018. It was very fun.
Yeah, Mark, you got to go, right?
Yes.
So
Steven,
jealous.
Which one? Which one of you got to go?
This guy, beardy guy, got
cool.
to go.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I went with Josh and John Hanlon because I won their contest. So
course.
they had been before, and so thankfully they knew all where to go, and we had a place to stay. We actually stayed with Megan Lum, who is part of Brickset. So we were the little part of Americans, and
All 5 of them.
I think there were 6 Americans at the show in total, and there's like 400 people displaying. So it was really kind of cool to be a vast
Such a
minority
minority,
in such a big group of Lego fans. So
Yeah, I'll flash just a couple and we can raise our hands to answer it. Who's going to Bricks? Oh, sorry. Who's coming to Brick Slopes? Okay, so there's 3 of
Randall,
us.
you're raising your hand. I saw it.
Oh, me? I was
No, he
scratching my
wasn't.
head. I was scratching my head.
He's touching his head.
I wish I could put my hand up.
Brick Rodeo. No, I don't think there's going to be a virtual component. I don't believe so. But who's going to Brick Rodeo? Show of hands.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Jen, I thought you guys were going to Brick Rodeo.
I thought Jen was, but maybe.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to Brick Rodeo.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So that's
Sorry,
4
we've
of
got
us.
an alarm going off. I'm trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
Let's take
I'm
another
definitely
look.
going to Brick Rodeo.
Okay. Here's another interesting one. This could be an entire discussion.
You have to build to transport. You have to
Modular.
know that you're going to take it apart and put it back together. So this is something that you have to think about from the very beginning when you're organizing how you're even going to build your project.
Which
Think
is
of it as like a 3D puzzle.
Yeah.
3D
I'm
puzzle.
building mine to
Yeah.
hopefully fit in a suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shoot, we lost someone. Dave, I was wondering, Randall lost Randall. Dave, how do you prep for moving your stuff to conventions?
So the only convention I've ever displayed at was Brickworld Chicago, and that's where I live. Although once I did have to rent a van because the stuff I was bringing was too big to fit in my car.
I had to do the same.
Yeah. But there was a question, who's going to Brick Fair Virginia? I think we all
let's do
are
Virginia.
going to Brick Fair Virginia.
Everyone but me. I'm out from that
Everyone
one.
but Moto. All right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And for that one, I already packed my suitcase of things that I'm bringing. It's ready to go.
Wow, you're on it.
well prepared.
So Dave, you came right after this question. What are you building anything cool right now? You don't have to answer with what it is. You can just say yes, but I'm sure everybody would love to know if you're.
Well, everything Dave builds is cool, so we'll just the cool bar's already there. Just
Randall's moving in on this one.
Can you see it, Randall?
I'm just trying to finish my mini build for this week.
I'm
a day behind, but I will say, I did build it on a hanging brick.
Oh,
nice.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Wasn't that big?
Probably smaller if it's micro scale.
I did find a yellow 14 Technic.
Oh yeah, that was a 14.
I decided that it would be easier without it.
I don't remember how many studs it was. Was it 14 or was it 16?
I think it was 14.
I think it was
14.
Sounds right.
We could probably freeze it and count.
Yeah,
you freeze and count.
Because I think it was 14 because I was upset that it wasn't 16 because it just throws my math off.
I'm just going to throw a mom comment in here from Mark and Steven. Oh, wait, that was wrong one. About Scareback.
Oh, they thought it was local. So when I go into a shop or something just to buy something, they would just start speaking in Danish to me. And I only know a handful of words in Danish. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm an American. They're like, oh, they start speaking perfect English. So it's great. But because I'm kind of tall and we have the complexion.
The complexion, we're Scandinavian.
We look like natives, so it's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's just tall enough to be in Denmark and fit in.
I was very average there.
At 6'3",
wow.
very average, yeah.
That's hilarious.
So they all thought he was a local. It's pretty funny. Or British. When they got to Scareback, British.
Yeah, to go back one question of transportation. So I do it the stupidest way, which is I build a mock, and it's mostly, I'll say it's mostly modular, except for the core of the stuff I build. So my boxes wind up being, really, really massive. And I buy one of those beach comber carts that collapse and expand out. And I just start to stack everything in there. But because there's a lot of airspace inside those things, and I do custom cardboard, basically A carts to protect the build. Like one of my builds, it's got to be something like 3.5 feet by 4 feet by, I don't know, 2 feet wide. It's a huge box. It takes
that's not small.
People. No, it takes 2 people to load it in the vehicle. So that's why, Dave, I had to rent a van as well when I was going to a local meeting. And then
I'm sorry, Moto, but anybody who's been to a convention as an attendee knows that like the first 2 days are people just rebuilding their mocks.
Oh, yeah.
Trees, especially.
Yeah.
Grass
Yeah,
dogs.
the modularity would be is best if you can do it. Like my large Technic spaceship, I had to build a wooden box to put it inside, and it was loaded. I had to build my own shipping container, basically. And
so
put
I
wheels
had a
on
4x4 landscape layout with buildings, and I built that modularly in 2 pieces and built a wooden crate way back when wood wasn't this expensive, a wooden crate with 2 levels, and I'd slide half of it into one level and half of it into the other level, and then that crate's on wheels. So Wonder Woman's in a wood crate, Mario's in a wood crate, wood crate's the way to go.
Yeah.
But it's big, and you have to have either a truck or a van or something big because we don't build small anymore.
No.
See, I'm the only one who doesn't have to worry about that because usually when I go to conventions, I'm like, I don't have a lot of time to build outside of work, so I bring very small, very compact, incredibly detailed stuff. Last time I brought 3 mocks. I brought a mushroom house, about this big. Then I brought a mammoth, and then I brought a seahorse, and that was it. And I had those displayed. Mark, on the other hand, you brought a 9 foot by what?
It was only 8 by 5.
8 by 5.
8 by 5.
And it was way too big, but we got to the point where it all comes apart into 1 foot squared pieces on average. So it's all a big puzzle piece, essentially. So, yeah.
I think this is a joke, but I'll just say that's a bad idea for economic reasons. Now, I will say this. There is a concept that's really awesome where the Lego artists, the Lego certified professionals, like I forget the name of the guy in Canada, but Brickman out of Australia, Nathan Soya out of the US. One of the strategies I've seen done is they take Technic bricks and they pin their models into that Technic brick. But on the reverse side, what they do is they take screws and they thread the screws into the lumber through those Technic holes so that the Technic brick is integrated into the very shipping container that they've put together out of lumber. And so when they set the model in, they can literally pin it in, or they build Lego frames because it's all in system to tack the model in with supports. So if you have that scale of brick, or if you have the presence of mind to plan it out, if I ever do the wolf, that's what I'm going to do is put a wooden base on it and then screw in the Technic, with some wooden framing, and then the opposite side, I'll just fit in those Technic 3 pins to stud the base all together into that wooden frame so it doesn't go anywhere. So that is a little cheat. So when you get to the site, you open the box, you pull all your Technic pins, and then you lift the model up. So that's a little hint. But I wouldn't build the whole thing out of brick. That'd be ridiculous.
Which is cheaper, Lego or lumber? No, just
Lego, I think, is still more expensive.
Probably.
For now.
You had to buy a Lego goat, then yes.
Well, yeah.
But can that goat carry my Lego for me?
I think at some point we're going to realize that there's an unofficial economy of Lego goats. Like diamonds can be easily transported across international borders. Lego goats will be the dark currency of the AFOL world.
You have a suitcase of goats. You're like, I got the goods.
Suitcase of goats. I got the goods. Where's the warhead?
Moto.
Gotcha. Replacing monorail track.
Or monorail track, yes.
Your monorail. There you go. I got the sticker.
Yeah, I think Moto does too.
No, I don't. This was the price sticker for the $1.50 at the thrift store when I got it.
Oh, empty. Oh, you beat me. I paid like, $15, so you got me.
Yeah. But yeah, I try. It's really weird now that I've never flown to a convention, so trying to work out, like you said, Susan, and that whole logistics of size and modularity is just baffling to me. I'm having a hard time building to that.
At times we shipped it ahead of time to a UPS location and did it that way. It always arrives in pieces, but
yeah, I would say I could recreate the planet Alderaan with any of my builds if it was. It would just be just shattered chunks everywhere, unless I glued it down. That'd be the only way, I think.
I don't know.
That's a good question for you guys. Have you ever used glue on a model in order to get it to a convention or not? Because I have. In spots.
I've used acetone to fuse the brick, to melt and fuse the brick if it's larger than 3 feet. Or if it's going on permanent display in a children's museum and there's going to be hands all over it all the time.
Yeah, so that is a good tip on the craggling. Don't use super glue.
Nope.
Don't use it. It leaves white powder. It's really messy. It's horrible.
And the fumes will warp your brick.
Yeah, acetone. I've heard acetone a lot. And then I've used the pipe solvent, ABS pipe solvent, the Clear Gorilla Glue brand, because it has just a little bit more set time. It takes a full 24 hours to cure, rather than acetone. It's you got 5 seconds and then that's it.
Well, you've got about 10 minutes with the acetone.
Okay, 10 minutes.
Wonder Woman, I did have to take a layer apart with a little bit of a hammer help because by the time I got around, I had realized I was off by one stud and I needed to move things. So, and by that time it was fused in there pretty good. So I had to carefully chip it apart. But the acetone you have to be super careful with because it would also remove the shine off of your brick. So you don't want that dripping. And I actually used a paintbrush drop by drop exactly where I wanted it around the studs and the connector points for extra.
Yeah. And that's why I use that ABS pipe welding glue that they use for waste pipe. It's a gel. So it's not like acetone where it's real runny. It stays in place. And yeah, I had an oopsie glue. This is my one oopsie glue. I always keep it as a memory of this is why I shouldn't glue. I only do it under extreme duress.
What happened to it?
Oh, I glued it in the wrong place, and now it's forever in this. You can't. It's done. This is basically now poop. Okay.
Okay.
This is a part out of
parts, baby.
This is
it's
a part out of parts. Yeah, this is a new part in the Lego system because it's completely welded together.
You need to build a mock around that piece, Moto. I dare you.
Yeah.
Oh, like
I double dare you.
Make a flag.
That's a good idea.
You have to do it.
Oh, okay.
Don't
I wanna
rush.
heat
Take your
this thing
time.
so bad
Throw
now,
it in
but
the lake or something. You gotta.
no, you're right. You're right. This should be that'd be great. Oopsie glue seed part challenge. So
There you go. Has a
that's
great story.
reminder. I'm gonna have it taunting me now on that.
There you go.
Oh, I will say one more thing about acetone. Because it actually melts the ABS that Lego is made out of, it will also, it turns your brick soft, so you can distort your brick if you're not careful. So I did a build for a lavender field, a local lavender field. They do like lavender oil and that sort of thing. And so I actually put different shades of purple brick in acetone and let them melt, and then painted the melted Lego onto the end of bushes to make a lavender bush.
Wow.
And so it will melt your brick if you leave it in there long enough, and it'll distort your brick. So you have to be super careful with that acetone if you're going to use it.
Yeah, and you really need good ventilation or a respirator. I will mention that if you're going to work with acetone. So don't be doing anything.
Don't try it at home, kids.
No, don't. I would say this is we're talking definitely 21 plus.
Adults only.
AFOL type stuff with proper safety equipment, because it's this stuff is hardcore. You're going to lose a couple IQ points if you keep doing this, basically. I don't see any additional questions.
I have a question. Has anybody finished their mini build for episode 5 yet?
I think Dave said he had, but
yeah, I think there's the one.
How about for
I
episode
can
4?
tell you where I'm at, but I'm not done because I realize I want to make a switch.
It's okay.
You don't have to tell us anything.
All right.
I haven't been doing micro builds. I've just been doing one big one.
Hey, it's a balloon.
It's another balloon.
Oh, wow.
that's cool.
Whoa,
Okay. Look at that. Dave, that was awesome.
That's awesome.
Wow, with the sneak
Okay,
preview.
but is his butt crack showing? This was something we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
It was mentioned that you're giant.
Hey,
Oh!
there it is. Dave, I have a question for you, by the way. Hilarious, of course, but how did you get it to balance? Because it looked like the giant was a lot larger than the other side.
Well, I don't know if you heard, but some of the clouds weren't as fluffy as other clouds.
Oh. Wait, did you remove parts or add them?
The cloud on this side, had a lot more on the bottom.
You had a density of a lot of brick.
Okay,
right?
I get it. I
That's
see
dope.
It's like ballast. In other words, like a ship's ballast.
So
Okay.
it really was like Richard and I were talking about it, and I have to go in a second, but I'll just answer that question. We built them, and then we had the coins, right? And just like we were talking about, like, wealth redistribution, we were literally moving coins from one side to the other to get it to balance.
Cool. Getting the scale. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
It was so fitting for what we were trying to say with our build.
Amazing.
That's pretty cool.
So you're using a redistribution of wealth to balance the scales.
Yes, literally.
That's pretty funny.
Dang, you work. What's crazy is every time you describe your build, it starts to get more and more meta. The more you discuss it,
Right.
it's like
There's
a
so
layer
many
cake
layers.
of meaning and purpose and thought, and that's just incredible.
Can anyone else have trouble balancing?
But I have to go.
Okay, have fun. Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you
Dave.
for coming. Thank
Bye,
you.
Hi,
Dave.
Dave. It was great seeing
Yes.
you again.
Thank you, Dave.
Great
Bye.
build. Love the little build.
Always great work. How about Randall? You
Noto,
guys
I
pretty
just
much.
want to point out that you
Yeah.
got a triple dog dare from Debo to use that brick in a build. So the ground it's been laid out. You
Yeah.
guys,
Well,
You should make an
if it-
American flag. I bet it's one of the stripes.
Something.
see, you could. There's so many things you could do with that.
Yeah, if it's Sam Jackson, I'd do it. Debo Yeah, I mean, you guys, I'm probably going to do it. It's just a question of when at this point.
Take your time. But
The
a
backlog
year
is
from
bad.
now, I'll ask you about it.
Yeah, and I'll be like, oh, the brick of shame is still up there staring at me. I should put googly eyes on it just to start, just so it's like staring down at me, accusing me of not using it. But that's a good idea. Randall, was yours easy to balance because it was all kind of common. The balloon was very, it's a very much a
round shape.
Yeah.
Symmetrical.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
basically,
Symmetrical.
Like where we connected the brick, so like at the edges, we built it all the way out, and I think it was 52 studs wide, and we built it to connect it to like the center of this, so that the center of gravity was here and above, so that anything lower wasn't heavy to drag it down and break it. So originally, I was planning on having us build clouds around it to counterbalance it if necessary, but we didn't need that. We didn't need it, so I didn't have too much trouble based on how I built it.
How about Susan and Jen? How about you guys? Because you had a more asymmetric type of thing.
Ours was pretty balanced, but ours kept spinning. Like,
that's the problem is when I hung mine, it kept rotating.
Instead of being, outwardly long, it was taller and just wanted to turn.
You had like scenes for each side that we were going to put on there that we ended up not having time to throw up there.
Imagine that.
So,
was there anything that y'all wanted to do that y'all weren't able to get in your builds?
Oh, so much.
Yeah, did I hear that
we had like a knot hole? We were going to have like a bird. We were going to have a squirrel. We were going to have little patches of grass with flowers. We had all these little details that would have rounded it out like perfectly if we just had a little more time. But I think the last 10 minutes I was putting that figure together. That was the first time I've ever brick built a figure like that. And so it was really fun to see that emerge out of my imagination and be able to put that together. But that was last minute. And so that was so many things I would have done differently if I had just a little more time from Clockzilla. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Did any of you other folks have problems with rotation?
So we didn't. For some reason, our build did not spin like. I'm sorry, it just didn't.
It would have been cool if it's fun because y'all had something around it, like every single angle. So it would have added to it, I think, if it did spin.
It looked random, like the placement of the branches, but Mark made the majority of that rock, and it was actually really heavy. It was sort of like that teardrop shape, upside down teardrop.
So it had so much inertia, basically. It was once it was settled in place, it wasn't going to move.
Yeah, I didn't want to move.
I think we also, our wire wasn't perfectly, our brick wasn't perfectly level, but it wasn't like prone to spinning. It just was like there. And if you put enough on it, it just really didn't want to spin.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have problems with it. I think it's like, depends on how they rigged it, It's like if you got one that was just prone to spinning,
No, but what I noticed is the brick was threaded, right? So the whatever that was, it came down through the end eyelet, inward, looped through the back, and then back out. So they wove it through, but it wasn't like double clipped in place. It was loose, but you guys actually probably had to put weight on it, level it, and then start building it because of it could have been set a little off.
Level. At least ours was pretty level.
It was pretty level, but that wire was not friendly to move. So that brick really wouldn't move too much on the wire.
Yeah.
And so you really had to once you ran axle through here or had everything attached in here and was pushing that wire out of your way, it stayed pretty much there. But it was definitely a force that you had to reckon with as you were building off of that brick. That wire was a part of it.
Yeah, not moving.
I will say this for Hat's Incredible, Paris and I were stargazing into the ceiling at one point, and we saw them. We saw the bricks hanging. We didn't tell any of you guys.
I saw it in my original exit interview. I picked that up. I was like, okay, he saw the brick.
I didn't want to give that away until it aired, but
that's cool.
Paris and I noticed, and because we were eliminated,
That's why you went to a hanging brick so quick. All right. I'm like, man, he jumped on that theme really fast. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Someone must have told him or something, which would usually happen.
They were in the ceiling at least. They were in the ceiling at least for the hat challenge. I don't know when they put them up there.
They were there the whole time.
They told us the whole time.
We were literally sitting back stargazing, and I'm like, "Hey, Paris."
There's a yellow one by something up there.
No. It was like, the hanging bricks is one thing, but there was another object that was very unusual, and that's what we talked about the most. But I did say, I went, "Are those hanging bricks?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." And that's all we ever said.
Wow. Man.
No, that was because that was one of the Australian challenges that I was like just ready to take on. That was one of my favorites. So it resonated with me. But now the show's over. We didn't tell any of the cast members. No one had advanced warning. It was still a surprise to them. Mm-hmm. But we just happened to, if you're looking up in the ceiling and you're looking around, it's like, oh. Now, to be fair,
because there was a whole bunch of lights up there.
Yeah, when the lights are full on, you probably couldn't make them out.
Well, there were lights and cameras like everywhere.
Oh God, the light kit in that place blew my mind when I was really looking at it. They'd have the special grid numbered tag system going on up there. It was nuts.
Yeah, it was intense.
So in the chat, Miss Labrica said that she's got her Blurple Dragon on Instagram. And I've seen that. It's pretty cool. She's got her little human dragon.
That up. Oh, right.
Yep.
I think I remember seeing that.
It's pretty cool.
Everybody, please, if you do have all the Instagrams from all the cast, please do follow them and take a look, because there's a lot of inspirational stuff still going on. It's like you'd think. I mean, we're builders. We build.
Mm-hmm. Lego Masters Fox follows most of them as far as I know. So. You go to the official page, you can find them. So.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a good shortcut. I didn't think about that. Smart one. Thanks, Mark.
How did y'all feel when it was revealed that it was the hanging brick challenge? Were you excited? Were you scared?
Had you researched it? I'll start there. Did you research it and know that it had been done in Australia, or was it a complete blank surprise?
So
it was a complete surprise to me.
Okay, you guys?
I had just barely seen the episode from Australia as part of my homework in my hotel room, maybe 2 days before, but not enough time for me to think about what I would actually do.
Okay.
So I wasn't completely caught off guard, but I loved the idea, and I was like, all right, bring it. Let's see what we can do. This is going to be fun. So I was loving it.
How about you guys? Mark, Steven, you guys looked like you just got shocked when it was announced.
So yeah, when I first walked in, real quick, when I first walked in there, we see the big stack of papers, right? So I'm like, oh, we're doing something with cinema. We have to write a story.
Yeah,
we have to do a story
right?
to go to build. It's going to be a story challenge or something. And then we see, Will's boss, which was hilarious. And the tables. I'm like, the first thing that came to my head was, I'm building on the floor. My back
they didn't say anything about the brick. They just told us we didn't have tables, and so I was thinking we were building on the floor too.
I thought so too. And I'm like, oh, we're building on the floor. My back's gonna go, and this is when my back goes. So
there's an over/under challenge out of Australia that you would have had to stay on the top surface if you had a bad back, and the other person would have had to go. I discussed that with someone. Like, I guess I'm doing the under, or you're doing the over.
Oh, right, that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But after this said hanging brick, I'm like, oh, this actually sounds really fun. But
Paris!
Oh, hey, Paris.
Where's Paris? Randall, how about you and Sarita? Did you guys just get taken off? It was kind of a surprise announcement, and then you just did it, or?
I'd watched the season.
I like how Paris got frozen the perfect moment.
Yeah, with the perfect, yeah.
No,
I'd watched season 2 of Australia, so I was sure that it was going to come up. I didn't know when. So I was actually grateful, same as Steven, when it wasn't going to be anything with scripts or movies and it was going to be the hanging brick. I was like, oh, okay. This is really fun. So I was mentally prepared for it, and I had some ideas, and Hot Air Balloon was one of them, even before we got to brainstorming. So I wasn't put off by it at all.
Okay.
There you are, Paris.
He's back. Oh,
Can he hear
a call back? Shout.
I have a really bad connection.
Yeah, so did Dawn. Dawn had to drop.
Dawn's sister's calling you out, Paris.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And hello, DJ. Good to see you, Brickfella.
Okay.
And once again, to anybody who's new in the chat, if you have any questions about this episode or just general, go ahead and type them up. We're taking questions as they come.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, dude, Jude 20. Thanks for coming, hanging out.
So what's interesting is Dude Jude 20. I've known him ever since I started streaming, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. He's been in the chat for most of the live streams that I've been on. The guy is like everywhere. He's like the Force. He's all throughout the universe. He's always there.
Force is strong with this one.
Oh, there's a question.
Oh, here we go. Got it.
Is it ever awkward when you have?
I'm going to answer this with all of our reactions were real. The reality in the reality TV is we're really responding to what's happening to us. Mm-hmm. What's not real is how it's edited. So we're not necessarily reacting to what is edited, but those are real.
I got a story about that. Okay,
you go, Randall.
So, I'll answer Dawn's in a second. So there was a point in this past episode where the judges were talking to Michelle and Natalie, and Natalie said something to the effect of just wanting to cross the finish line, and Jamie says, "Oh, you too far in the competition to just want to cross the finish line." Immediate cut to me, like glaring at Sarita right after that, and I was like, "Damn," because I couldn't even hear what they were saying because they were so far. Anyway,
on the opposite side. You were on literally the other sides of the room, except for Brian and Lauren, who were closest to the.
Yeah. Michelle and Natalie were like on our side, but they were on the other side of Susan and Jen, who we built next to. So I couldn't hear none of that. But so that was funny how they cut that, but they weren't lying. So I'll give them that.
The narrative was true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I will say that when it comes to someone at a table reacting to something that's said, a lot of the editing, I call it directionally correct.
Yes. Okay.
It's lined up and edited in the appropriate way, but it's not precisely how it happens at times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you guys earlier. If I had a bad connection, I apologize.
It's okay.
Didn't mean to ignore that.
Randall, if you want, you could answer this question coming from Dawn.
Yeah, was it weird watching your elimination with a room full of Lego Masters? So we had a watch party for the last episode. It was Marie and Philip, Jack and Dawn, and myself and Dave.
That looked like fun.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
it was fun. It was fun. And I wasn't before the scheduling was what it was. I wasn't expecting for that to be the episode in which we went home. It wasn't weird because I was there, so it was. It was.
Well, no, for the most part, most of the people, I would say not all, but some of the people you're hanging out with kind of knew what was going to happen. So,
right. If anything, we were just, again, like we all do, just watching to see what happened at other tables, to see, what people were going through. So, but again, like watching the episode back. And even when I was there in the moment, like once we finished, I was like, yeah, like this is time to go home.
Did you feel like they edited it correctly and gave you the right send off and it was appropriate and
we missed your line.
Missed your
line, Randall.
Wait, there was a line?
There was a line.
I don't know what it was.
What was the line?
All right, let's set this up. Mark, go ahead, go for it.
You gotta say, y'all stay regular.
Or stay regular.
Are you serious? You said that?
That's right.
Stay regular.
That's what it was. I think
last time it was stay regular, dog. But then you said y'all, I think, to everybody.
Stay regular, y'all. Something like that, and we all just bust out laughing.
That's why you see me cracking up. Oh wait, that was the boot pun. But I remember right before you guys left, you said, "Stay regular, y'all." And we're like, "We are so gonna miss you." Oh man, so
Yeah.
You can understand why that was cut out.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did. I think you weren't looking at the camera, maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Well,
Maybe. But that's
I'm really mad that they left that out because that was a great moment.
yeah.
it also might have been, you know, someone at Fox must have been like, "Are they talking about dietary supplements
I was
now?
gonna say,
Or
Right.
I bet they tried to give them.
are they having pooping problems?" on set?
No!
What's going on?
It's an inside joke, I guess.
It was-
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think I think it was Philip said that you were like the coolest person he had met. You said like, "No, I'm regular, dog." There's no
That's
other
how
than
it
that.
started.
Yeah,
Not
and then
just
he
regular
thought that was
dog.
the best thing ever.
He said you were super regular, and we're like, okay.
Yeah,
I wish I was super regular.
yeah, that was what something like that.
So I just have to say, hey, Wayne, how's it going? So I just have to say, where Randall was standing on the risers, he was literally the heart, the middle of the whole crew. And
It's
so,
so true.
yeah, it was really, really. I hated watching eliminations, even though I knew what was coming. I
Yeah.
hated it. I hated it. Can't watch it. Ugh.
Yeah. So it wasn't. So I guess the long answer for Dawn, it wasn't weird. I think, and like always thinking about the criteria that the judges lay out, like storytelling, technical ability, and creativity. We fell short on 2 of the 3, and like we didn't have anything like technically impressive in our build. And our story, he said it when he talked to us, our story was kind of self-contained in that basket. It wasn't really anything you could see. We just kind of built an object. So, and again, like I hurt my leg, so by that time,
Yeah. They
I
didn't
wasn't trying to bounce around the studio, like go get bricks anyway. I was like, let me put my feet up. So, yeah.
Here's another more technical side of the production. This gets asked more often than you would think.
Really?
So, Brickfella, you have to remain absolutely silent in order for all the microphones to pick up what we are saying as we're building. And there are times where we're talking too much and they tell us to stop talking. And some people comply more than others.
Ice.
Hard
Jen
ice.
Did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got told. They were calling my name. Everybody on set knew my name. Jen. It's Jen again. Jen. Jen's wandering. Get Jen back over here. She's looking at other people's builds. Get her back over here.
Jen.
You were actually told to be more chatty sometimes, me and Mark.
You know,
really
I
quiet.
believe that.
There was
You
that
know,
too.
At some point, I had to be honest right there. I'm not sure what they want right there. You're talking too much. You're not talking enough. You're not being authentic. You're faking it right there. I said, like, oh my gosh, what kind of movie are you making?
Well, Wayne, I
I'm
think
not
you
getting
only.
paid for this.
I think that's
But
funny.
but Moto, they never told me to stop singing. None of
No,
my
I told you to stop.
Oh, you told me that. You told me.
When you
Tell us
say
you were not allowed
when-
to sing.
So you guys, this is interesting. Can I tell them the story part? So you can.
Hey guys, I gotta actually hop out. I just wanted to drop in and say
Yeah,
hi before
okay.
I live right there. But
Hey,
you know,
love
pretty
you,
much
Will.
right there. Congratulations, Mark and Steven.
Yeah,
cool with
absolutely. Talk about
but
Golden
I'm
Brick.
running for you.
Hey, Wayne, are you going to be at Brick Rodeo?
I will see you all at Bricks Rodeo, and you guys will hear me before you see me.
That's true.
Oh,
Take it easy.
man.
No, so you got, I don't know if you guys knew this, but during one of the builds, Paris, you sang I'm Every Woman by Whitney Houston for 5 hours straight. And only the refrain on repeat.
This is the only
loop.
words I knew.
And every 30 minutes, I would say, can you please stop? Because all of this is completely unusable. And by the second hour, I said, I'm having a really difficult time focusing. Can you please stop singing? By the third hour, I was asking him every 15 minutes if I looked up at the clock check. And at hour 3.5, I said, can you please stop singing, please, for the love of everything. He's like, I just want to have fun. He keeps singing. And I go like this on my mic. I go, I'm so sorry, whoever's listening to this.
Wow.
I bet you the audio people just like cut his channel and like maybe every hour and a half they checked in and just turned it off because, dude, it was, oh my God, it was,
After a while, they just pull the cord.
And then by the end of it, you know, we get done with the challenge and all that. And I'm like, why did you have to sing so long? He's like, oh, were you serious? Oh, like he thought I was joking the whole time. I'm like, don't even play that, dude.
Taurus, I want you to make a shirt with that line on it. And Randall, I'm calling you out too. You need to make a shirt. Super regular, dog.
It was, oh my God.
On the show, you can make it a shirt. You're right. Because it wasn't on the show, you can make it a shirt.
Bingo.
Save
me. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy that shirt. I'll do it.
I would totally buy that shirt.
Yeah.
You got
it. Golden Brick. Let's talk about, because we're getting close to time. We should bring up the win. So, not hats off. Sorry, that was the previous episode.
Thinking of a Lord of the Rings.
Thank you for hanging tight and winning the Golden Brick.
Hanging on.
Keeping out of suspense. I don't know. There's so many puns. But yeah, congratulations. I can tell you as an observer, my small art director and myself, that's one of the things we do is because I don't know what's going to happen. It's like, what do you think? He says, oh, I think this and this. I say, oh, I think this and this and this. This one I matched both top and bottom on the nose. I'm not saying I'm Jamie Amy at all. I'm just saying from my observation of what I could see, I was like, I think I said, well, I'll give my top two and bottom two, and I think this is what might happen because I think I know what they're probably gonna say.
You kind of craft a story with how much footage people get. Honestly.
Yeah, well, that too. You can always see the attention's going to focus on the tops and bottoms.
Yeah,
a little bit, but to call the actual top and bottom, was it gets a little tricky.
Mm-hmm. I will say about that build, one thing that wasn't shown on the camera that the viewers might find interesting. In the last episode before this one, Hat's Incredible, Amy and Jamie knocked us pretty hard for having some exposed plates on the bottom of our hat. They eventually threw it out because you couldn't really see them, but there were some light azure plates underneath a brown hat. It stuck out like a sore thumb. And for those of you there, you can probably remember that Amy and Jamie said something along the lines of no exposed plates or whatever, looking at you, Mark and Steven, we're like, oh, okay. I was petrified when they said that. And it really threw me off for the first hour or so. Because of that, we used every sort of texture we could. And we made sure everything was we really okay. Think like they think. Everything must be perfect. So we had to do every single detail. We had tiles, we had slopes, we had everything, and there was we spared no expense on that one. I'll just say that because they really oh, we're watching you guys. We're like, okay, well, bring it on, I guess. So yeah, it kind of worked out like that. Maybe they spurred us on somehow. I don't know, but
I think
it really shook me up for a second.
I think it showed. I think y'all's particular use of color everywhere. The different characters you had, the contrast in forms,
Well, that was it for me. The composition was, really well done. Where it wasn't too regular, it wasn't super regular. It was a bit irregular, which you want. So natural. The natural world is not uniform, and it had that pattern, but it had a natural feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the color usage was spot on. So I could see Amy going yeah, that's the color treatment I want to see. Everything had good contrast. Everything popped. But then all of the stuff that was coming off was perfectly level, but also not symmetrical or overly, I don't know what to say, regular, repetitive.
Yeah.
It was very
Susan and Jen, I think we lost their audio. Yeah. I can lip read. She says she really loves it, but we lost our audio feed there.
Dang it. Sorry.
Sorry.
There you're back.
I absolutely loved your red leaves. I mean, I could see those from across the room, and they were just fantastic. I love the veins on them. Looked so good.
Thank you. But that was a team effort. So what happened was we were going to do sort of like plates to kind of, they were like little landscape chunks to look like simulate leaves kind of. It was going to be more abstract. But I told Mark, no, we should do big leaves like dogwood. So we should do like a real true leaf. And Mark's like, no. And then I'm like, Mark, we should do it. But
Steven insisted.
I insisted. Like, I'm like, no, we got to do big leaves. Like, we got to do this one. And he's like, fine. So he goes over and he makes a perfect leaf. But I said, do orange, like those veins. I said, do orange. And Mark's like, no, these don't look good.
There's no orange tiles.
And there's no orange tiles. So I'm like, well, snap. So what do we do? And then you suggested
some dark red.
Do some dark red. I'm like, do it. So he comes back and they look perfect. So, which was nice because all the screen time. I'm sorry, bro. I'm not getting so much screen time here. But they were so heavy that we can only put maybe 2 or 3 on each branch. But that actually freed it up to see inside really easily. So you could see all the rocks, you could see all the vines, you can see little caterpillar cocoons on one side of them. They kind of glossed over that.
Well, when you build, leaves of 3, let it be.
There you go.
And shout out to you guys for your branches. I have to say, they did not highlight those at all, but I got to tell you, those branches were phenomenal. Mostly we do like ball joints and just connect all these branches together. I don't know what technique they used, but it looked so good. So good.
What technique did you use?
The branches were actually very simple. It's
right.
No, they were. I'll tell you. You'll be amazed. Look, simplicity. Yeah, simplicity. Genius in their simplicity, I guess you could say. But they were literally a stack of plates, like 2x6, and then 2x4, and then 2x4, and then 2x3, and then 2x2, 2x2. But then I'd have an identical copy of that below it. And then I would have, but it would be a brick and 2 plates below. So I'd have a headlight brick and 2 plates, or maybe another one if I wanted it to look just so. And then I would snap plates on the side of that. But every time there was a stair step, I would have another headlight brick, headlight brick, headlight brick, headlight brick, all the way up. So
but you'd always subtract a stud or 2 in order.
I can always move it around. It's incredibly modular. Yeah, easily. So we had those attached to the side. I have to say that Mark did a lot of the bulk of the work. He did most of that entire island, which left me to do like the fun gnome stuff.
He did the houses and stuff.
But Mark said we're doing the gnomes, and I would always try to deviate and do butterflies or whatever. Like gnomes, do gnomes. So they were kind of like a Viking, but thanks for doing the gnomes, bro.
They're like a short Viking.
They're short Viking.
Right.
So yeah. But
okay, there's your shirt. Gnomes are short Vikings.
Yep.
Right.
That's brilliant.
I will. Speaking of merch, I did. We're coming up on our, standard theatrical 90 minutes here. So I wanted everyone to have a chance to go around, and I know Jen has stuff.
Yes.
So if you can articulately speak to where people can find your merch, first where to find it, and then what are you selling? I'll start with Susan and Jen.
I have merch for sale on Etsy, but I do not currently have the link. I'll have to post it on Instagram and probably Facebook. You can find my Instagram at Lego Mom of 2, and Facebook is just Susan Earls. And I will post a link in the next couple of days.
And what's for sale?
Etsy? I have sig figs and stickers.
Awesome. Jen?
And I have a website that you can buy my merch at. I have t-shirts, stickers, minifig, and it's jenrainsmart.com.
Nice.
And thank you so much. You guys sent me a care package, and it was unbelievable. So
yes, +1.
The small art director is going to love these. Thank you so much. I just opened it yesterday.
Awesome. You're welcome.
Yep.
I'd like to put links to all of your merch pages of Next Gen Smart Fans, so all of our fans can find you.
I'll extend our common shared contact thing to include merch.
Yes.
That's smart.
Website.
I like that.
Mark, Steven, you guys next.
Yes. Steven just made a website. It's what was it?
BrotherStevenBuilds.com. So Brother Steven Builds. So 3Ds and
Shirts and stickers.
they'll be coming up. The shirts are coming up. Mark's doing a great job on those. They'll be LM themed, Lego Masters themed.
Inspired, not actually.
Inspired.
Like stuff that's not actually on the show.
Maybe some inside jokes here and there. I
For
might do a
legal reasons,
Clockasaurus
it is
shirt.
inspired by Lego Masters.
I might do a Clockasaurus shirt. That actually sounds really fun. You know,
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
red.
no,
like,
no.
what
I
did you
got
build
dibs
there?
on that one.
I do
But I'm
Clockzilla.
doing the build.
Can I
So
do
we're
the
gonna have to
Clockzilla?
collaborate.
Tell you
on
what,
this.
we can
funny
both
shirts.
do it. The shirts will look just like, okay. You can't even though
Copies?
we're gonna
We're copying.
even though
Yeah, right.
Mark and Steven, you're copying my Clockzilla
You can have it.
discussion.
You can have it. I was just, it's all right. You came up with it. You can have it. I was just kidding.
No, how
but-
about this? How about this? We'll do a design collab, and then we both can sell the shirt.
Sure. I
I
love
like
it.
it.
I love
Yep.
it.
Okay.
I got some ideas. Oh yeah, that's the design for the.
Oh, Mark, that's
dang.
fantastic.
Yeah, Mark's been working on that. It looks really good. Back up.
Really nice.
Yeah.
That's Rune, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love it.
So that's
Yeah.
coming out in the next couple days. So,
Nice.
And the domain one last time.
Brother Steven Builds and markofallworth.com.
There's one more piece of merch, though, if you can call it that, that I've been working on since I got home, which was my book. So
I
make
cannot wait for this.
Hey.
I mentioned this to Moto a while ago off the stream, but I'm writing a book, and it's going to be a gallery book. Now, I hope people aren't underwhelmed because it's going to be like all my best works and commentaries about them. Because if I want to I tell people about Lego stuff when I found them on the show, people who didn't really know much about that hobby of mine, and I say, oh yeah, my stuff is on like Flickr and other places.
Yeah.
ClassicCastle.com. It's like an old forum from 2005 and all this stuff. So they're like, oh, okay, it's cool. It's like they have to do all this research now, and their kids can't surf the web. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put it all in the book. And my mom and my dad were both like, you gotta make a book. I'm like, now it's a good time as any. So
I
that's
love
coming
that
out.
idea.
That should be
I
done
cannot wait.
before Brick Rodeo. So it's called The Inner Workings of a Lego Mind. I'm going to have some people review it first before I release it, just in case I need to, something needs to be tweaked or whatever. But that'll be coming out. There's a few unpublished builds in there. They're not really big, but they're cool. So that's coming out before the show. And if you guys want an autographed copy, let me know.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Oh, we also have
Take my money.
ring kits.
Yes.
Available through atlbrick.com. So those are pretty awesome. They're inspired by the stuff that we've built on the show. They're different, but
They look similar.
similar.
So yeah, the power ring is really popular too. You guys all need a power ring.
Yeah, I saw that. That looks really
Yep.
fun.
Great.
That's about all we got for merch.
Paris, I'm willing to guess that we could find you at Next Gen Smarty Pants. That's just a guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got some Next Gen Smarty Pants merch coming as well.
Okay.
Stickers, some shirts. Yep.
But also education classes, the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
And a retail store, right?
Yes.
Or
Like a
education
store.
space. I don't know what to call it.
What? It's a maker studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
/ Lego store / classes / hanging out place for cool people.
And I always forget where it's based because I always got like where you live confused with the Next Gen Smarty Pants location.
Completely understandable because I live near Boston and my maker studio is in Canton, Connecticut.
Canton, Connecticut. Okay.
Yeah, but the
So
Northeast.
if anybody's in that area, they could look you up.
Yeah. So we got a lot of small states out here.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm from Colorado, and I don't. When I go to the East Coast, it drives me nuts.
Yeah. we like that. We did that on purpose.
I'm like, it should take 8 hours to get to a border.
Here it's 4 hours to get to a border. So yeah.
No, 8, and the speed limit should be 85 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Right.
4
Okay.
hours at 80.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less.
I mean, not to say that you can't do that on the East Coast.
You'll probably get
No.
in trouble though.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I've done it.
There
He
you
wouldn't
go.
say that. He wouldn't say that.
He wouldn't
Nope.
say that. He's too regular.
Too regular,
Too
dog.
regular. Randall, how about your
I'll
stuff?
punt it back. There's a comment in the chat that says Steven should post a golden brick winning plant technique online.
Golden with plant.
The branch technique I think they're talking about.
Oh yeah, actually, it's an animal technique. I just borrowed it for the trees. But yeah, I would have to post that.
Yeah, I would love to see that
Copy.
too.
No, I made it.
You made it your own. It's not copying. It's fine.
No. Look, we pick up techniques from other builders all the time, but anything that gets remixed, repurposed, just re-education, to me, it doesn't matter who, if I learn it from someone, I always say, well, I learned it from this person. But
Right.
sometimes they say, well, I learned it from this person. And 19 comments later, it turns out it all leads back to Justin Ramsden or some OG like Lego designer at some point. Or I should have said, a Brewmaster Jamie. It always leads back to Brewmaster Jamie in the end. So Randall, where can we find your stuff?
We haven't released any merch. The latest thing that we released.
Well, don't you have Lego graph paper coming out though?
Yeah,
look.
Yeah.
I want one. I needed that.
Could you hold it up? Let me put you on the big screen because I want you to show people the detail of what it actually is.
So it's 1-to-1. Let me get the cap. Yeah, so it's 1-to-1.
Nice.
Also in the back.
Look at that.
Plate as well.
We will use that in our classes. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and it should be 1-to-1 with the actual like bricks and plates.
Love it.
So we're planning on using this for some like workshops that we're gonna do. But for me, like I was tired of printing graph paper off online, to help in some builds. And I was like, let me just do this.
I have to say that is one of the most genius product things I've seen, because even though so many people work digitally, just having a book around.
So
just like taking that on a flight to Brick Rodeo, for example. There you go. Someone screen grab that.
Oh, there's
that's amazing.
Screen too. I didn't even notice it.
Amazing product.
Yeah. So that's it. That's at mostincrediblestud.io. So you can find it there.
Soon, or is it already available and I just didn't know?
It's already out.
Oh shoot! See,
yeah, it's going to be on Amazon August 11th.
Next Chance Smart Pants.
Yeah,
and I sent Paris a sample, so yeah, it's on the top.
I want to get one. That sounds really useful.
You guys, you got to start contacting Bricks and Minifigs, quite honestly, because that's something I could see selling through any retail store.
Dang, I was just there in Cali when I was visiting.
You didn't even think about it, huh?
No.
There you go.
We're going to talk about that. Hold that thought. We're going to talk about that when we're offline.
Okay.
Oh, okay. By the way, there is a post show, folks, that you don't get to see. For me,
we don't get to see each other. We want to chat.
After the show's over, what we do is we get our members only jackets and we put them on.
Right.
Get the hood and the candle.
Shows you how old I am. Anyway, for me, I'm not even going to get through my product placement. For me, you can go to Moto, M-O-T-O, merch, M-E-R-C-H, mart, M-A-R-T.com, motomerchmart.com. Let me add Dawn back. You can see the stickers that I've given away. You get to pay for them. They are heavily discounted right now. The stickers do take the most amount of time. I've realized that someone stole my mail.
Really?
5 days ago, so I have to resend the last entire handwritten note package out. So I apologize to all the folks who have worked recently.
Wow.
A mail thief now has a bunch of Moto stickers and personalized notes. That sucks, but I will get them back out. But I've got stickers, I've got T-shirts, and that's it. No, I also have digital instructions.
Yes.
But please do not order the digital instructions until you read all of the warning labels attached to that.
Okay. Oh, right. It's built like Moto. So, yeah. You don't want to pull a Moto.
No, it's got some rare parts in it. So I actually bought his instructions. It's pretty sweet. And I bought his shirt. I'm not wearing What did this cost?
I saw that on IG. That's dope.
Yeah, it's a Mad Max V8 Interceptor, but it does use a Technic Fig. It uses a Belleville dog. I mean, there's a lot of really obscure parts if you're ordering. So,
from the imagination of Moto.
Yeah,
it's a spectacular build. I just have to warn you going in. The part cost will be very high on this model.
Unless you modify.
And you have to spray paint parts. So
Wow, Moto. Okay.
Yeah, watch out what you're getting into. Just want to say, but yeah, if you just like to see techniques and audit it, that's cool. It's a digital download, pretty cheap. But if you're gonna go at it, yeah, if anybody does physically build it, I would love to see a picture of it. Dude, Jude, I want that so bad.
Yeah. Dude, worth it. I got those instructions and they're really cool.
Do you think it was worth the money? Because I didn't know how to price it. Was it okay?
Yeah, I thought it was perfect.
Okay.
Perfect price point.
Good. Yeah. Dawn, merch or anything that you sell?
Not currently.
Okay.
I'm trying to start. Well.
Oh, her internet would robo voice. Oh shoot!
Yeah,
she said not currently,
Back.
but, and then I missed the domain.
Oh my gosh!
Dawn, can you put your domain?
Yeah.
In
Put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Put it in the private chat.
Country.
If you put it in the private chat, I will.
Or Dawn.
Yeah, I will post it over.
There we go.
I will copy and paste it over.
Well, I gotta figure out how to put it in it. Oh, I see. Yep.
So not yet, but
I'm
coming soon.
I'm hanging around. Possibly. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
So does anybody have any like podcasts or anything coming up this week, interviews or anything like that we can all look out for?
Oh, that's a great thing to close on. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Beyond the Brick has their last quarantine cast
Yep.
on Tuesday, and I'm going to be on that, and we're having like a Brickmasters type brick off. Me and Joe are getting together, and we bought 2 sets from 2 different genres. We're going to open them on camera and merge the parts together to build something.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun. So that's on Tuesday. But what else are you guys on any other like IG lives or anything like that coming up in the next week?
Probably, yeah. I'm gonna be on Corey's IG live sometime next week. Talking about the last
Corey
episode.
Sams, right?
Corey Sams. He's at Sam's Brago LLC.
Sam's Brago, yep. Mhm.
Yeah. So I'll be whenever I get time, whenever he jumps on live. It won't be Monday, but anytime, probably Wednesday or Thursday will probably be then. And I think I might be on the latest episode of Talk Bricks Masters.
You
like
should
a
be, yeah.
5-minute recap thing. So yeah.
Awesome.
As well as the Brothers Brick as well.
Oh yeah.
So basically anybody when we leave, you get a full barrage of media stuff that goes
Oh,
out.
and I wrote for Brick Nerd as well.
Yeah, Brick
dang.
Nerd.
Good, yeah, go see that.
Yeah.
I had Zach and Wayne on today. Not too many people showed up on our live stream.
No,
So
Wayne
yeah,
was here.
go next. Yeah. So Paris, you did a live stream with Zach and Wayne?
Yeah, and we got into
Under which account? Which account should we look for that one?
I just did it through through StreamYard to Facebook to YouTube to all of our Next Gen Smarty Pants channels.
So it's still Next Gen Smarty Pants.
Yeah.
Account.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they can find it there.
Yeah. I have no other life.
Anything else from
I'm
you?
the Gen. He's the next gen.
That's right. That's right.
Oh God.
The next
Bill Arnett is alive and
Randall
well.
missed it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Randall missed it.
Jane.
So like Next Gen is the next
Yeah.
Like Jen is like
No, not next 2 gen. That would be
Mars,
Susan.
next gen, is that
No.
right?
Susan is next 2 gen.
So Paris, do you feel like you're the next gen?
Wow.
Next gen?
I wish I was next 2 gen. I wish I was Suzanne.
That's funny.
How about Mark Steven?
We actually finished a podcast today.
Oh wow, okay.
Do you want to talk about that, Mark?
Yeah, what's the name of the podcast? In the Van?
It's called In the Van. So normally it's kind of like Joe Rogan, but it's 2 of my welder buddies.
Not quite like
No, it's the same. It's
just everything and anything.
yeah, basically they do all kinds of stuff. It's not strict to the go.
Local friends
That's
of
what I
ours who are
meant,
doing a podcast. It's really fun stuff. Steven works with them. They're at Steven's work, and so we joined them for a little podcast. They just want to talk about Lego Masters. We're fans of Lego as kids, so we just did a little podcast with them. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. They're on Instagram and Apple podcasts as well. We went for like an hour. Normally we're in their really cool retro fitted van that they made into a sound studio and stuff, but the AC broke in that thing, so we're like, it's Georgia summer, so we're like, we're going inside. So we went inside and we filmed it there, and it was it's just audio right now.
Did they tape like a barrier between you two guys when you did the interview?
A little plastic barrier.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Oh man. Okay. Anyone?
By the way, that's a joke referring
That's
to
an
our
inside
method
joke.
of transport that had COVID protocols when we were filming.
Oh, that I forgot all
We had
about
the
that.
shower curtain
That
between everybody.
stupid shower curtain. No, no shower curtain.
Anyway,
but no, we did that, and I don't think we have anything else planned until the convention. No.
I just want to answer Gloria in the chat. Yeah, I've done a few of them. I need to get better at promoting it. So I've done. I've had a chat with Jessica Ragsy a few weeks ago, and Ed Sack. Mark and Steven are going to be on in August, and I'm lining up more after that. And then the new one in September. So I just need to get better at promoting it so we can get attention to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where's
The more
my invite,
consistently
dude?
you do it, the more people show up too. So as you get into the gear, you know.
Yeah.
And look in the chat, Monica Berry says she was on Tricky Bricks yesterday. Woo!
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I saw you, and it was wonderful. Good job. Yep.
Did a good job, Monica.
Randall just did a costume change on us here.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
wardrobe, no hair makeup though.
That was
Change.
good job.
Is that
Crazy.
approved?
Yeah, my episode 1 year.
Yeah. You ready to go out Friday night?
I wore
Nice
my
sweater.
stuff today. Yeah.
Randall, is that a Brago?
No, it's not. It's some Japanese brooch that I got from when I was at a museum like a couple years ago. It's not a Brago, but I should.
Yeah.
I couldn't get mine through. I couldn't get mine approved.
Mine didn't come in time.
Yeah, I had one for a long time at a
Me neither.
Ragsy and a Brago, and early on they were like, no thanks.
You can put on your lab coat at your conventions, Moto.
Yeah.
You are wearing a lab coat, right?
You're part of our
lab
You
coat.
and Paris.
Guys, I have hung up the lab coat for conventions.
Okay.
Please.
Someday I'm going to show up in a romper, a lab coat with patches on it, with red hair. We're just going to mash all the teams together.
You're gonna mash it.
With flamingos on your romper.
Yes. Yeah.
With flamingos, right?
That's right.
Got
That'll
some
be
Lego shoes on.
With flamingos and a Kelsey bracelet.
With a Kelsey bracelet. We're just going to
Kelsey
represent
bracelet,
everybody.
And a
that'll be
non-existent watch I couldn't wear.
yeah, that's right.
No.
Okay.
A ring.
For me, coming up, you will be able to see me tomorrow on Tricky Bricks Build and Chat show.
Ooh.
That's at 10 a.m. PST. I will also likely be on Pink Bucket Nation. That is the Bricksmith account. That one is at 6 p.m. my time, so it'd be 5 p.m. PST, I believe. But I do that. These are things I do every single week. I'm just a panelist on these shows every single darn week. And then you can come back here every Saturday. Well, no, next Saturday we'll be off because there won't be a show.
Yes.
But as long as there is a show that evening, if you wait a couple hours to make sure it aired across the U.S., Philip and Maria take to Instagram. We get the immediate reactions from the family.
Yep.
And then this Saturday is more of a long-term YouTube-ish hosted recap. Oh, yeah, people are PBN. Yeah, PBM. Woo! That's the Pink Bucket Nation.
Oh, got it.
And by the way, you guys could probably you could join anytime you want. If you
I
want
was going to ask, how does one get on the Tricky Brick stream?
The Tricky Brick stream, you just ask Flynn.
Flynn.
And in the post show, I'll give you his contact information.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd love to have you.
Yeah, I'd love to show up.
Yeah, the bar's pretty low. I got on there.
Oh, so humble.
Don't do yourself
Is
like
your
that, bro.
bucket behind you? Do I see a pink bucket up on the shelf up there with
Yeah,
stickers
this is
on
the
it?
pink. Yeah, this is the Pink Bucket Nation. This is the PBM.
The
This
pink
is
bucket.
That is
Yeah.
funny.
Hardcore, man. Look at that.
Funny. Now this is sadly the wrong size for a true pink bucket, but it's good enough. It doesn't matter. And then I've put on all my stickers that I've gotten from people over time.
Oh wow.
Look, there's little
Yeah,
Jen.
that was nice, man.
Oh yeah,
That's
just
awesome.
Sweet.
Wow.
Dude, that's cool.
What's the lamb on top?
okay. So I will give a shout out to a YouTuber right now.
Okay.
Stay.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm staying.
So if you guys go, I want you to check out Depy, D-E-P-Y, Depy Shep. So Depy Shep Bricks, D-E-P-Y, S-H-E-P Bricks.
Okay.
And this is not exactly Depy. This is a rescue Shep that is very similar to Depy. But I love the YouTube TFOL community. Depy Shep is one of the accounts that I follow as much as possible because every time I watch it, it makes me smile and I feel happier about my life.
Oh,
That's awesome. I love that.
And Depy runs an incredible TFOL Discord community. And I'm a big supporter of TFOLs. So that is my Depy Shep.
Depy Shep rocks.
Yeah, it's not Depy. You'll see Depy when you go to Depy Shep Bricks.
Okay.
And there's BFAB. Oh, look at this. Boom. Doc Sampson, Depy, BFAB. Depy's amazing. Yeah. So, Dude Jude, Depy. You can tell Depy's pretty well known in some of the YouTube streaming community. Yeah.
But this
Great
is
on the
us,
live
just
stream.
sharing the love. That's how we do things.
Yeah. Oh, I got to bring Dawn back in. But with that, we are now approaching Christopher Nolan territory for airtime. So I think we're just going to have to say goodbye. And thank you guys for. There's Randall. He's back.
There's Randall.
Thank all of you, all 21 of you watching this right now. And of course, I've been looking at the metrics between 80 and 100 people over time watching these. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes.
I'm glad that you enjoy hearing about some of these little behind the scenes things or getting your questions answered. Every Saturday after an airing, you could come and see these, real time and ask questions in the chat. We will do our best to answer the questions, and if we're unable to, we will duck and weave and dodge them as best as possible.
Yeah, we're good at that part.
Yeah. But thank you all, and have a good evening, and we'll see you later, okay?
Bye.
Wave awkwardly long as it takes me to click buttons. Bye.